And these nights are getting shorter, like a energy I'll conquer. In my soul, this is real. These nights are getting shorter. In my soul, this is real. And this night thing up, get in my soul. was too young, and I didn't understand that you were no one, and I can't wait to see you hindsight is fleeting when your heart's bleeding and all you can see is red, till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were no one, and I can't wait to see you again. Oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were no one, and I can't wait to see you again.
I fell and lost to the war, shot me dead. I was lost and I said to the voices in my head, I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta.
Welcome back, everybody, to another game where the El Segundo Strikers are going to be taking on the Broncos. Puck drop underway, and Ferraro wins that back. And now Davis takes it away. Shot, scores. Strikers are off and running after Davis forces a turnover. And the El Segundo Strikers, just like that, are up 1-0. Now the Strikers this season are a perfect 7-0-0. Haven't lost a game yet. And now Broncos in the Strikers' end. Strikers will get it back, send it out. Edwards. Back to Davis. Davis will give it to Jacoby. Jacoby off to Dawson. In the Broncos zone. A shot, save, and a quick turnaround as the Broncos try to gallop out of their zone into the Strikers zone, but quickly turned away by, I believe that was Wilkinson. Wilkinson up ahead. Campbell has a shot, but blocked aside, and the Broncos goaltender will cover. a good start for the JV Broncos, as they are 4-2 on the season, and as it were, I believe they are leading the league in power play percentage. So this is a team you definitely don't want to take a penalty against. And a shot, save right away. So another save by the Broncos goaltender. And quickly, the Strikers are looking to take advantage of the Broncos early here in the first, as a shot right on and a save turned aside as Lennon gets it, trying to shove it out in front, and a save. Puck still loose, but a quick whistle. Oh, a lot of refs tend to swallow their whistles when the puck goes anywhere near the crease. They try to do their best to look for it. But as you saw, some refs, as a shot right out in front is turned aside, some refs like to quickly get the whistle off, as you saw a breakout pass in a good controlling play by Cathal McKeown coming out of his crease and covering. Now, that save reminded me of an early 2000s Patrick Waugh when he played for Colorado. Waugh would a lot of the times play outside of his crease, and most of the time would play in between the hash marks where the players would go. And a lot of people questioned why he would always go out so far, and that's because he can attack the puck. You see a lot of goaltenders nowadays, whenever you see a puck threatening for a breakaway, a lot of goaltenders, if they can, will sneak outside of their crease and bolt towards the puck as a shot goes right on, tipped aside, and they would try to just corral the puck or control the rebound, as right out in front, the Strikers turn it over. Thornton trying to regain possession out in the corner. Out and back, and they're still tussling for it. Now, if the tussle were to have continued in the back end, the ref would have called it dead because the puck was not in constant motion. The puck needs to be in motion. It needs to go from front to back and side to side as the Strikers break in, and Griffin turns into a little bump. They try to get it out and threatening a 2-on-1, but nothing doing, as Wilkinson will try to play it out. And I believe that was Griffin who turned into a little bump as he turned it over. And the Broncos into the Strikers' end now, trying to get it in the corner now, and Dawson will try to get it out. Turned over. The captain, Davis, will try to skate it down. He has it now in the corner, trying to send it out in front, but no one there to receive the pass. They'll play it down, turning him into a little right along the wall. These kids are, to make up for the height deficient, they will mostly move their legs faster to regain traction, but the thing that makes a hockey player fast is not how fast you move your legs, but it's in the strides that you take. It's simple ergonomics that you would take 2 giant steps and just let it glide. You would let yourself glide. So the way these young hockey players work is that they would take 2 giant steps and they would glide, or as you see right there with number 77, would take multiple little strides, but that leads to little control as you see him spilling on the ice as Dawson tries to send it out. Or excuse me, that was Lennon giving it to Wilkinson. Or Klingman. He'll turn it over. Broncos with it. Aloisi trying to clear it out. And players that are kind of girthier, like Aloisi and Davis, they don't really use their speed, although speed is a good thing to have in hockey. The one thing that you do really like to see in hockey players are the physicality. They like to post up against players. As you see Aloisi taking it to the side, and he tries to tip it out in front. And now they have it out in front. Shot saved by the goaltender. Still 1-0 here, as the Strikers have been putting everything they can on the net. And we will get a call here. I think it would be playing with a high stick. And the reason why that is a problem is playing a puck with a high stick is you can, but if you do it to yourself, if you play the puck with a high stick, no one else on the ice but you or the opposing team can play it. Same thing goes for a hand pass. But I did recently learn that a hand pass is only called in the neutral zone and the offensive zone. If you do it in the defensive zone, that is illegal play. And that is a new rule that I actually learned when watching the LA Kings take on the Edmonton Oilers. Drew Doughty was on the ice. He scooped the puck back to his defensive partner, Joachim Ryan, and Ryan cleared it all the way out. So that was an interesting rule there that was discovered. And it's actually interesting to see how it exists as a shot from the Broncos goes wide. They'll try to send it out, and a little bit too hard of a shot there as it wings around the board. You would try to do that, what the Broncos just did. You would try to wing it around the boards like that if you want to get it to your other partner. So if it's going from defense to defense, you would ring it around the boards. As a turnover there almost turns into a rush, but he just couldn't control the puck, so they'll flip it down. No icing because the Strikers beat it out. And he turns into a big hit. That's why you have to keep your head up, especially a short player like Thornton. You never want to get into the back end of a check against someone taller than you because it's hard to miss your head. So you always have to keep your head up. And as these kids no doubtably learned, you never duck when you're hit. You always try to face the boards head on. Because if you do duck, that exposes your neck to be, well, broken. And we've seen a lot of scary scenarios where that unfortunately has happened. And a little factoid too, there is a reason why you see in the center ice, once the camera pans, as a pass right on, almost completing right into the slot, and another turnover. Davis will try to get it out. Havard will turn into a big check as the Strikers will try to clear it out, almost giving it a centering pass, but the Strikers were there to intercept. Right out and back, saved by McKeown. They'll have it in the back of McKeown. They'll try to clear it. Strikers retain possession momentarily as Wilkinson will get it. Wilkinson, Campbell, and Davis. Or Ritz. Ritz with the puck now in the corner. He's tussling with a couple guys. He has it. Trying to break it out of the Broncos. Right in back of their goaltender. Tipped on by Campbell and held in. Thornton will try to send it out in front. Shot. Nothing doing as all defenders were there to lift the stick of the impending shooter, Griffin. He'll give it back to Davis. Davis turns that one over, and Lennon will play it. And no relation, as far as I'm concerned, to John Lennon. And he turns into a big check. That is a heavy, heavy hit that Aloisi took. It could have been really dangerous, that open ice check, but looks like Aloisi is all right. You like to see the physicality, though, in especially these younger kids, because it gets them used to the Czechs and gets them tolerant to hitting the ice, because as they get older, the hits only get harder, and hard checks like that, although yes, they are kind of dangerous, as Dawson takes a shot off the post, beats the goaltender up high, but goes off the post. Checks get harder, but players get tougher. That's the way I view it, as they give it out to the front, and a shot blocked aside by the pad. Now, that was a really clean check, but it would have been a dirty check if the, I believe number 11 for the Broncos would have raised his elbow a little bit. That would have been called for elbowing, as the Broncos have it. Flat-footed Wilkinson will get the puck, or Klingman, rather, excuse me, as Broncos have it. And we will see what the call is. I believe it's just the net comes off its moorings. Now, it's funny because these nets are a lot more sturdy than the ones that I'm used to seeing at the rinks in Anaheim, where the USC Trojans play. The the moorings aren't really strong there, and what moorings are is the stanchions that keep the net in place so it doesn't go flying all over the place when the goaltender bounces off of it. As a clearing attempt goes down, it's tipped by the Broncos, so no icing. It was beat out by Aloisi anyway. They'll have it in back, trying to center it, and the Broncos turn it over. Klingman, a shot tipped on, and nothing doing. Moave, and a shot save, rebound right out in front, and that's kept. Wilkinson racing down with the puck. He still beats it out and checks it forward. Now that's a really good play, because if you get it down and deep, it minimizes the rush back the other way. But as you can see, Moave doesn't slow down there, and that's a good play by the Broncos there, as he never gave up on that play, as Klingman has it. Coming down, a shot tipped on, but high and wide, as Jacoby will retain possession. He'll try to get it across to Campbell, and Campbell will touch up, and we're going to get an interference call on one of the Broncos, I believe, number 12. So, Strikers to a power play here, and, of course, Broncos asking, oh, what did we do? Seems like when a player goes to the box, they never really agree with the referee's call. That's okay. That's why the men and women in stripes are there. Oh, well, in this case, it's just men in stripes. Speaking of that, the Lady Lions are in the rink just behind us playing right now, so wish them all the luck, as Jacoby will get the draw. He'll try to send it around. Down in the corner, getting it to Davis, and a shot just gets tipped wide. And, speaking of getting into hockey younger, I continuously find it boggling that hockey is growing in popularity. It really is. When I was, I know I haven't been here that long, as Strikers try to give it across, they'll dump it in the corner. I know I haven't been here that long, as Jacoby will give it to Wilkinson, trying to give it to Campbell. Campbell, shot tipped on, save, and a rebound. Goes wide into the corner. They'll try to get it up. Campbell. Shot tipped down, but not on net, as it's short of the goal mouth, and they'll clear it. I know I haven't been here on this earth that long, but as far as I was here, hockey wasn't really that popular of a sport, and I find it very, very cool and interesting that hockey is gaining a lot of traction. You never really saw high school teams and high school leagues when I was still going to grammar school. You see high school leagues now, and of course you have big high schools like Bishop Ammon and South Hills, who do have hockey teams. May not be organized hockey teams, but they're hockey teams nonetheless, as Aloisi will play it. He'll give it to the side. Edwards turns it over, but Aloisi will get it. Shot, save. And what an amazing glove grab as he drops the puck. He drops the puck, and it ends up going in anyway. But that does count as a save, as Edwards will get it. Shot turned away by the goaltender. What a great stop by the goaltender here. And another pass out in front off the pad. 1-0 here. This is a real test for the Strikers, as usually by now they're already dominating the scoreboard. Right now they're only up 1-0 thanks to that early face-off fortunate bounce, and a cashed in on the breakaway as Edwards has it. He gets checked to the ice, or to the boards rather, and they'll trying to chase it. Howard, they'll give it out to the side. Aloisi trying to get it, almost turning it over, having a little bit of miscommunication with Edwards, and it'll go right past Howard to Lennon. Howard back to Lennon in the left circle. Shot, save again by the goaltender. So this young goaltender really showing his might early, flashing the leather, and it seems like his glove side is his dominant side. He really favors when shots go to his immediate left because he's already having that glove ready. So if I were the Strikers, I would be looking towards top blocker to low end side, trying to get those shots off. As Jacoby holds it in. Broncos with the puck. They'll try to clear it out. Keller keeps it in, almost turning it over. And now Strikers keep it. Jacoby trying to shoot it in on goal. Again, turning it over. Trying to give it out in front. And a shot blocked aside, and the blocker covers the puck, which is something you're allowed to do when you are the goaltender, is block shots with your, cover shots with your blocker, but your defense is not allowed to cover the puck with their gloves. If they cover the puck in the crease, that is a penalty shot. As Keller gives a shot, it's blocked aside. Only penalty shot, as far as I'm concerned, this year for the Strikers went to Brett Wilkinson, who was stuffed trying to go 5-hole. Avaro, a shot blocked aside. Someone dropped their stick, and another shot gets blocked out in front into the corner. They'll try to clear it out, and now another shot gloved down by McKeown. Kahal McKeown is a really good goaltender. As you see again, a shot maybe going wide, but he was able to glove it down again. Kahal McKeown is an amazing goaltender, as you see right there. 2 glove saves, 2 seeing eye glove saves, really shows that he is in control. The hand-eye coordination it takes to make those saves, and just the patience to have to let the puck come to you instead of making those gut decisions to raise your glove or drop your glove early. As Davis will get it, head of steam, trying to beat out the player. He does. He goes into the corner now. Right out in front, Ellis will try to give it back to Davis. Davis takes a spill. They'll try to clear it in. They try to go around, and now they'll try to clear it out, but Strikers really pestering now as he forgets the puck there momentarily, as under a minute to go to play in this first period. Ellis will try to hold it in. Broncos in their own zone will try to clear it out, and a shorted player tries to send it out in front, and a seeing eye dagger of a pass barely goes wide as he couldn't get a good tip in. Broncos have it down to the corner, and it really shows. Many of these kids really show you that size really doesn't matter when it comes to hockey. As a shot goes wide and the rebound goes, another shot goes wide as he tries to tip it in on goal, but just doesn't find the twine. As a shot by Wilkinson goes off of Griffin's shin, that's got to sting. So they'll send it out, and I think they're going to be content with escaping this period up 1-0. When that says final, that's not a final score. Excuse me. Let me fix that. So Strikers here early in this game, as we have a minute to go in this intermission, we're going to go right back to it. Because in high school hockey, you only have a minute in between the first and second intermission, but or the first and second period. But a longer intermission, I believe, is going to be 15 minutes. If this score remains close and not at a margin of 5, they will keep this game going as is and not running time. And these guys will get a break for about 15 minutes to reconvene. So at the end of one, it's 1-0 El Segundo after a good threatening period. This goaltender's really standing on his head right now as we'll get ready for this second period. I'll fix the period right now. So as I was saying, the Strikers really showed a lot of offensive pressure there. And the first period, the only reason why it's this close right now is great goaltending for Bishop and also great defense, not letting passes go into the slot. And you can see the size advantage for the Strikers there as Edwards takes the draw. But as you can see, size really doesn't matter in the sport of hockey. You can be short, you can be tall, you could be girthy, you could be skinny, but as long as you have puck handling skills and hand-eye coordination, you can make anything happen. And I think that's something that Hall of Famer Luc Robitaille really showed. He was seen as too short, too slow. He was seen as not a great shot, but he did have excellent hand-eye coordination. Excellent hand-eye coordination. So, a lot of his goals came from the slot. They came from right out in front of the net, where he just banked home a lot of goals that were, or a lot of shots rather, that went off the goaltender and almost went wide, but he would always keep it right in front of the goalie and keep the pressure up. So net play plays a lot in this sport. As Strikers have it, shot goes off a defenseman, and the Broncos will get it. They'll try to clear it out. And now here we go with the Broncos. 2-on-1 threatening shot saved by Cahal. Broncos have it. Out in the neutral zone. Wilkinson. He'll try to send it out. And that will be called offsides. So Broncos here really threatening offensively, getting a few licks in terms of shots. And walking behind us actually is the El Segundo Strikers varsity team. So that's really cool. I like to see the connection they have here with their younger counterparts in the JV team. And if you turn into Black Dog, I believe they'll be showing the game on their website. The varsity El Segundo Strikers. As the Broncos turns into a big check. I believe that was Jack Dawson who just straight up stood up his counterpart there and just ran into him. That's one of the hits that you see. He just let the player come to him. And I think that's a really important thing to do in hockey sometimes. You don't always need to go for the big checks, but if you have that strength and you have confidence in your rooting ability, if a player goes to get the puck and they're going to run into you, sometimes you just let them come to you and let them fall down. is Klingman. He has it in the corner, trying to clear it out. Klingman, right behind of the goaltender, he'll give it back to Edwards. Edwards 3-on-2 threatening here for the Strikers. Davis, a shot goes off the pad. Rebound out to the side. Right out in front, and a tip goes wide as Thornton tries to shoot it in on net. And a shot again goes wide of the net. Right out in front, trying to clear it out, but nothing doing. Broncos still have it in their own zone, trying to clear it out again. And again, the Strikers are going back to their form of suffocation hockey, where they keep it inside the offensive zone and pinch the boards, just trying to keep it into the Broncos zone. As right there you see Aloisi skating up and trying to intercept that pass, but he'll have it in the corner. Broncos try to clear it up and out, but Strikers retain possession. And the JV team, the coach is actually the coach for Loyola Marymount hockey team for ACHA Division II. So I see a lot of LMU play style here, as LMU also likes to play suffocation style hockey, where they like to keep it inside the zone and keep possession over position and make things cycle around and just make the passes that they need to make. So as the Strikers get ready for the face-off, drop of the puck, Broncos win it. Shot gets blocked to the side by Jacoby. Again, they'll try to clear it, and a shot tipped on but wide. Right out in front, Davis turns it over. Moharve, a shot, or a pass rather, is intercepted by the Strikers but held in by the Broncos. Turned over to Davis. Davis will give it over to Jacoby. Jacoby will try to clear it and barely skips over the stick of the captain for the Broncos. Intercepted, and now here comes Jacoby. Back the other way. Falling to his knees, but he was able to keep it in. Holding it in the corner. And now here we go with Lennon. Lennon, a shot saved by the goaltender as Campbell out to the side. He'll try to center it, but a few tips in. They'll try to clear it now. The Broncos will back the other way, but it's going to be held in by Wilkinson. Wilkinson, high drive, blocked aside, and again held in by Wilkinson. Wilkinson, turnaround shot, just goes wide of the net. Right out to the side, and now here come the Broncos. Back the other way, and he turns into a big check. Absolute ruthless check there by the Strikers. And now you have the, as I mentioned, size advantage. There are perks to being tall, and that's something I won't disagree with, and that's one of them. But there was someone I know in the NHL, as the Broncos almost turn that over. They'll give it away to the Strikers and clear it. There's someone that I was a fan of in the NHL, a really short player. You may know him by the name of Martin St. Louis. He was very, very good when it came to ducking checks, because a lot of the guys would try to check from their shoulder and not check down. As we have a breakout pass, but barely offsides, and I think that's one of the most frustrating moments of a player, that you're barely offsides, one skate over the line, and you have a breakout pass, and you just look at the ref like, can't you let it slide? But no, they can't, because the rules are the rules, and that's why offsides is a thing, so you can't really cherry pick all the way down the ice. But as I was saying about Martin St. Louis, he was able to duck checks, and he did it very, very well. As a shot turnover right out to the side, and the goaltender was able to bail himself out, as he almost turned over a really crucial goal. As we still have a game here for the Broncos. Strikers losing the draw. Broncos trying to get it out. Intercepted, and now here we go with the Strikers. They have someone parked out in front, and a shot goes wide, almost tipped on. And a pass will go all the way out of the zone. Klingman will play it, trying to get it down to Wilkinson. 3-on-2 for the Strikers. They'll try to go down. He falls to the ice, and a shot scores. Wow. What a goal for the Strikers. That's one that pays dividends for your players who just keep their eye on the play. If a play looks dead, you're not a hockey player. Because a play never looks dead, a play never is dead until the whistle goes. As the Strikers have it, I'll try to send it down. My apologies. We're just trying to tell someone to get out of the way. No, we just want to keep a line of sight for the puck, but also keep everybody else entertained. So the Strikers will have a face-off just to the right of the goaltender, and that was a really good play, as the goaltender was out of the play, and the Strikers never really gave up on that. They more aligned, they just got the puck to the net, and that's something that you always want to do as a player and as a forward and shooter. You want to get pucks to the net, no matter how hopeless a shot may seem. Always get it to the net, because like you saw, you never know what happens. As a shot save, rebound to the side, and McKeown really had his position out for him. He was down and out on the play, but he fought his way back into the play and got the block off. As a shot goes high and wide over the net, that's one thing that I think the Strikers could really improve on, is getting shots on net. It seems like a lot of their shots are going high and wide of the cage, but I remember being in this age when I was trying to control my shot. It was kind of hard because you always overcompensate, because the puck always feels so heavy on your stick that you always overcompensate and shoot with all your might. And just to find out, when you shoot it with all that adrenaline, it's light as a feather. So I think trying to get low shots here for the Strikers and the Broncos, pretty much any JV team, is really important, as the Strikers will try to regain possession as the Broncos have it in their own zone. We'll try to get it up. Strikers with the puck, and they'll clear it back down into the Broncos side. So as I was speaking about Martin St. Louis, there's also another big guy. I think he is the tallest player right now in the NHL, Zdeno Chara. And you see him really use his physicality to his advantage. Those two players are the prime example of it doesn't matter how big or small you are, you can play your best hockey. As a shot right on, blocked aside by Campbell. And we will have a breakout for Wilkinson. 2-on-1, Wilkinson, shot save. A really good try by Wilkinson. A really good try by Wilkinson, as the goaltender was just ready for the shot. And Wilkinson kept his composure, kept his cool, and skated from one end of the ice to the other, making sure that he kept possession of the puck. And another player that I knew how to do that was Drew Doughty, and he was a defenseman. So it's really cool when you can see these kids really involved with their play, and it really shows that there's not much separating these youngsters from the whole guys in the NHL. Just a few years experience as a shot goes right on and saved going wide. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of these players in the LA Kings High School Hockey League end up in the NHL one day. I see a lot of star potential here. Even in the JV team, there's a lot of potential. As the Strikers go up, they'll find themselves a shot, and that will be blocked aside. Even from the goaltenders, as you see Kahal McKeown back the other side, he's doing better than a couple of the varsity teams' goaltenders. So it always just goes to show that you don't need to be the center of attention a lot. You just need to have hard work and dedication. As Klingman has it, he'll try to send it down. Tipped on. Lennon has it. Lennon for the Strikers. Lennon still keeping with the puck. And another great play by the Strikers trying to get it back to the Broncos side. Klingman, he'll try to pass it. Aloisi with a broken play, trying to make something of it as he shoots it wide. And now here we go with the Broncos back the other way. Back and forth, that's the name of the game when it comes to this type of hockey. Especially when you're young and trying to go back the other way or the Strikers, but especially if you're young and you're not really playing organized hockey, you're just more of just playing rut hockey as the Strikers take it back the other way. There is some organization to games like this, and you can really tell that the coaches do a great job with these kids trying to instill hockey knowledge into them, as the Broncos will try to clear it around the boards. As right there you see a good play trying to go out to the back. It's vision. It's all about vision. You can have hockey IQ, as you see Davis trying to beat out the defenseman, trying to get it out in front. He'll try to shoot it. Aloisi with it. Centering, and a save by the goaltender. You can have all the hockey IQ, and you can have all the hockey knowledge there is. You can be as knowledgeable as Wayne Gretzky. But the one thing that really separates good players from great players is vision. You need to have vision on the ice. You need to really break it down. You need to look at the play as a whole, not just as an individual standpoint, but you need to really show that you know what's going on. As the Strikers will play it down, a shot again, a glove save by the goaltender. Good hockey play so far here in this second period. Strikers and the Broncos both showing why they are top leading in their respective divisions, as the shot just goes, or league rather, as the Broncos trying to go back the other way. At the left circle, turning it over. Now here come the Strikers back the other way. He'll send it down. Campbell right out in front. We'll try to send it back the other way. Getting it out to the side. In the corner, Strikers trying to bid for possession. They'll send it out. Campbell has it. Has someone to his left as a good hearty trying to cut it into the slot. Just doesn't work as the Strikers keep it in. Dawson will try to give it out to Keller. Keller, a heat-seeking shot, just goes wide. And the Strikers still with possession, trying to go back the other way. Keller again with it. Keller almost turning it over. Now he does, and the Broncos try to skate back the other way. But Lennon was a little bit too fast for them, as you see dead, tired players on the ice for the Broncos. Just couldn't make that rush dangerous. And Campbell with it. A shot goes wide. fatigue really does play a factor, I think, more in hockey than it does in any other sport. Is once you're tired on the ice, it seems like you're stranded until you can get a shift change, because you can't really just go off the fly or be subbed out like in soccer. You have to do it when it's convenient for the play. And sometimes players are stuck on there a minute after their shift is ended. And believe me, more playing time may sound like a good thing for a player, but sometimes too much playing time is very daunting. As you saw right there for the Broncos, almost turning that turnover into a scoring chance. He just couldn't lift his skates high enough, and they couldn't gain any traction or speed because of how tired he was. So that's the reason why the Broncos couldn't really stretch it out, is because they were just too tired on the play. 55 seconds remain for the Strikers. 2-0 is your score. Wilkinson, he'll try to stream it out. Broncos with it, trying to go across. 38 seconds left, and the Strikers will hold, pass, and that could have been turned into a lethal play, as the Strikers will try to hunt him down in the Broncos' end. The Broncos will try to clear it. Almost turned over. Broncos still with it, and I think the Broncos may try to hold it in their zone. No, they'll try to just clear it out, and I think the Strikers will dump it down. And with 7 seconds, we will go into the second intermission with the Strikers still up 2-0. So 1 minute to change benches and 1 minute to get your game plan together and get some rest in, and get a little breather for the goaltenders, who have to be out there all of the time. And I think the goaltender is the most hard-working position there is in hockey. You don't really, if you think about it, goaltenders really don't get a break, especially in this level of hockey. It's just a constant grind from beginning to end. So, 10 seconds left to go here, and the reason why they switch benches in the first and second intermission is because when you're coming down the ice, it's more of an advantage to have the defending bench be on your defending side, mainly because if you're trying to go off for a line change, it's obviously a few steps further than your defensive line, and you can get caught in a bad line change. And if you get caught in a bad line change, especially in the second period, where your bench is near the offensive zone, it's an easy breakout for the opposing team as the Strikers get ready for the third period. Thornton getting ready for the draw. He has Dawson to his left, Jacoby to his right. Broncos with an interesting lineup here, as they'll drop the puck and the Broncos try to get it out and get a quick shot off. They'll play it down, trying to tip it out in front, batting it out of the air, but going wide. Broncos retain possession. They'll try to wing it around the boards, but Davis is there to intercept. Davis with a full head of steam, trying to find someone in the slot. Right out in front, Jacoby, 2 fanned-on shots as Thornton has it. Thornton from distance trying to shoot it out and in. Jacoby will wing it around into the corner, playing it out to the opposite corner, and Davis will play it. Davis. He'll play it down. Keller. Edwards, a shot save, rebound right out in front. And excuse me for my moment of silence there. I had a little technical difficulty with the headphones, but everything's all good now as we are going to get a call here. I believe it's going to be interference on the Broncos as ref goes to center. And no, it's going to be elbowing. Ooh, that is something that you want to be careful of because that 2-minute minor could have easily been a 5-minute major if one of these players were injured. And I'm not sure, but when I was in high school, whenever you got a major penalty in any sport, red card in soccer or a major foul and ejection in basketball or even a major ejection in water polo, it's always repercussion on the player. The way I heard it is that if you do receive one of those penalties, it's an automatic suspension within the school. So players really need to be careful of what they do and how they show emotion, especially in this sport of hockey. As right out in front, save, rebound right out in front, and they score. Wow, and he celebrates with some passion as Campbell gets the third goal there for the Strikers. It is 3-0 El Segundo. It's a good shot, save, rebound. It's a 1-2 tic-tac-toe kind of play as Campbell kept his head up the whole time and really just let him have it. And now here comes Edward, leaving it off for Edwards. And a shot, save, rebound out and back. Edwards trying to battle it, trying to go out in front. And the goaltender will cover. 3-0 your score for El Segundo. And very, very, very entertaining game. As the Broncos really showing their offensive might, getting a lot of shots off to McKeown. But McKeown was absolutely ready for them. Broncos try to clear it out. He'll skate it. And they'll get it down into the corner. Right out in front, saved by McKeown. An amazing save by McKeown as he shows excellent body control, going from right to left and flashing the stack pads. And that is just thrusting himself into the play. That's a save that I haven't seen since the early 90s when goaltenders would use all their body to try to save the puck, trying to do like the double stack pad and the windmill saves as a shot goes wide of the net, right and back. They'll clear it around. Klingman has it, and he'll clear it down. And this will be an icing. So, Strikers off and running with a 3-0 lead here in this third period. And the Broncos really right now only allowed one goal a period. With the offensive pressure that El Segundo really showed for the entirety of the game, it's a surprise that the Broncos haven't let out more. But thanks to their stellar goaltender and their stellar defense, they are still pretty much in this game. Crazier things have happened when it comes to these types of games. Where I remember a few games in the LA Kings history. Recently, there was one where the LA Kings trailed with 21 minutes of game time remaining and came back from a 3-0 deficit. So, as the Broncos have it, shot goes wide. Got to get those shots on net when you have them. As the Broncos turn it over, 2-on-1 threatening for the Strikers. Aloisi trying to get it out in deep, but turning it away. Aloisi will give it around to Edwards. Aloisi, he'll try to give it out in front, holding on to it, out into the slot, but the Broncos were there to block that. El Segundo will force the icing. 11:02 left to go here in this third period. Strikers lead 3-0, and amazing offensive pressure by both teams. This is one of the more exciting games that I have been pleasured to broadcast, and really shows you that hockey at its roots can always be fun. And every hockey player at their roots are always going to be competitive, as we have a 4-on-2 here threatening, giving it back, and a shot goes high and wide as someone wanted the puck, banging their stick on the ice. Wilkinson, high and wide, but goaltender was out to make the grab. His glove hand reminds me of Martin Brodeur, as no matter where the shot goes, it could be a mile wide or right on net, Martin Brodeur really had his glove at the ready. He really controlled the puck mainly with his glove. It's insane to see some of his saves, as another shot again goes to the glove. So Martin Brodeur really did favor his glove side. Every shot he made a glove save, it seemed like. So I think it's really interesting to see that the Strikers there were threatening his glove, and even if their shots didn't even hit the glove side, that last one was going blocker side. This young goalie reached over and tried to just save it with his glove, and really he did. Davis try to get it out to Lennon. Lennon trying to threaten or push it into the Broncos zone, but Broncos turn it over. They'll skate it around into the Strikers zone. Dangerous looking play, getting it out in front. Defense tries to help McKeown, and they really do. That's a good heads-up defensive play for all involved. And now here we go with the Strikers. Back the other way, 2-on-1, but he loses the puck. So smart hockey play. He'll leave it off for the guy in stride as they'll get it up. And in, Broncos, with a lot of pressure, he'll just give it away to Howard. Howard will try to give it back to Davis. A little bit of miscommunication as Davis will play it in his own zone. Edwards, with 9 minutes left to go here in this third period, he'll give it back to Lennon. Lennon out skates, trying to go out into the high slot, and a shot save, rebound, still retaining possession as shot by Klingman, save, and he will cover. Most goalies nowadays cover the lower part of the net. I don't think that's much of a surprise. And if you really compare like Kelly Rudy to like Jonathan Quick, or if you compare Evgeny Nabokov to Martin Jones, you can really see that the bottom half of the net is always covered. It's interesting to see the kind of play that these modern goalies have. Always getting low, always making themselves look big. And the bottom of the net as they score. A face-off win, and a wild shot goes in on net, surprising everybody here, including the guy in the booth. Amazing shot by Keller, a seeing eye. Actually, no, that went straight in. It went straight in as Keller's shot goes, it just rifles to the bottom right of the corner, as that might be the dagger for the El Segundo Strikers. Edwards trying to dance around, and if they get one more goal, then we will be playing running time, I believe. They'll play it down. Still loose. Right out in front. And a good save. Still loose. And they will cover. Wow, that was a quick whistle by the referee. And someone looks like they're in discomfort. Someone's down. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I think that may be a pulled muscle. Yeah, you always hate getting cramps on the ice. Yeah. Looks like one of those deep cramps that some athletes would get. So we have one of the athletic parents coming on the ice, trying to see what's up. You always hate to see a player injured on the ice. That's always a sad thing to see. Much respect, though. Looking at the strikers, clearly concerned over this player. Looks like it's a thigh cramp, as she'll try to stretch him out. That's why you always limber up before a game. That's the most important thing to do before you take the ice, is to stretch yourself out, get yourself limbered up. And sometimes, and I think in this case, sometimes stretching just isn't enough, where cramps will happen, and they seem to happen at the worst times, as you see. No one likes to go through this. No one likes to go through this type of play, as we'll still get looks like he's going to be all right. It just seemed to happen out of nowhere, as they'll carry him off the ice. Try to sit down and let that leg rest up. You always have to appreciate your teammates. I think that's really cool what they did. As we'll get play back underway here, they'll escort the injured player to the home bench so he could get off the ice, get to the dressing room, get some heat on that leg. See if he can stretch it out. An athletic trainer going with him. We'll walk him down the tunnel, and we'll get back underway here for the remainder of the third period. 8:15 left to go here in this third period. And our thoughts and prayers go out to that young player. You never like to see a player go down like that. You never like to see anybody get injured like that. But in hockey, it does happen, so. Best thing to do is just press forward and play your best hockey for your fallen teammate. Face off underway, and Strikers will keep it in the zone, in the Broncos zone. Broncos turning it over. Trying to at least break the shutout here as they'll get it out to the slot. A shot saved by McKeown. What an amazing stop by Kahal McKeown. Outstretched and flashed the leather. He just whipped the glove around. Size matters not in this sport of hockey. As Kahal McKeown gives Darren Pang a run for his money. Heck, he gave Jonathan Quick a little run for his money as Campbell holds it in. And try to wing it around. Holding it in the back, Davis. He'll play it. And now here we go. Again with the Broncos. Right out in front. Saved by McKeown. It goes high into the corner. And the Strikers now have it. Jacoby trying to go around the defense, but nothing doing as Davis has it. Davis will give it to Jacoby. Jacoby with time and space. A shot save. Rebound out in front. Another shot scores. 5-0 is your score now as the Strikers have really come alive here in this third period, scoring 3 goals. And amazing job all around. This game has, despite its score and outcome, this game was very close. And I think every player is to thank for that. Both goaltenders especially. Strikers will play it out. Try to go down, but that is going to be called dead because of a penalty. I think it's going to be one of the Strikers going off. Yeah, sometimes when you're... we are going to be playing running time, by the way. So I'll get this clock going. Yeah, sometimes when you're up by this much, this late in the period, sometimes your discipline both ways kind of escapes you, where you just want to either end the game or get kind of even if you're losing. Desperation starts setting in as Aloisi tries to clear it out. And in this case, I think it's just a careless mistake by some immature players, especially on the striker side. Because, I mean, you already have the game won, but, I mean, it wasn't really an egregious penalty. It wasn't roughing or anything. It was just, a little hook and a little interference. So, as long as it wasn't anything that was going to put a player in danger, they'll play it to the back, trying to give it out to the side. Intercepted by the Strikers and now turned over by the Broncos, and a shot saved by the right pad of McKeown. .5:11 left to go here and counting as the Strikers try to turn it over. Aloisi tries to hold it out. Wilkinson will play it. Or Klingman, rather. Aloisi will go out. Thornton trying to pressure. No relation to Joe Thornton. the mother of little Thornton there came up to us and made it very clear and apparent. I am not related to Jumbo Joe Thornton. It would have been kind of cool if she was, though. As we have another threatening pass shot scores. That breaks the shutout. And the Broncos are on the board. 5-1. 4:20 and counting. Playing running time here. So the Strikers have their shutout broken, and I'll have to look it up here to see how many shutouts McKeown actually has. It wouldn't surprise me if he already had one, but it would have been heartbreaking if this was the verge of his first. As Strikers will play it out in the corner. And we're going to get a stoppage here. A whistle. And I think we're going to get a penalty. Not entirely sure. Yeah, it looks like the Strikers are going to go to the box. Edwards. So again, El Segundo really not showing the best of discipline here. Coach is explaining to Edwards what he did wrong. And sometimes as an inexperienced hockey player, you really don't know what you did wrong in terms of penalties, because sometimes these are kind of ticky-tack calls, and the refs just want to be careful, which is something I totally respect, especially because these are young kids. They're not really professional athletes. So, Strikers go back to the box, and Broncos will try to rip into this lead as they lead by 4 now, trying to dwindle it down to a 3-goal lead with 2:52 left. As the shot goes high and wide into the corner, and it was guided away by McKeown. It's sent all the way down. Cathal McKeown, as I mentioned in the previous broadcast, is a strictly Irish name. And the little guy's dad, or grandfather actually, hails from Ireland. And it was really cool to talk with him and get the origin of Cathal McKeown's name. So the Broncos ride in, a shot saved by McKeown, and he will cover. So again, we are playing running time. 2:01 left to go and counting, so I'll let the clock catch up to mine. As we have 49 on the clock right now. 1:49 left to go in this game. As a shot save, rebound out in front. And another shot blocked aside by Cathal McKeown. A wide open shot, and Cathal gets one blocker up and blocks it away. And another shot saved by McKeown. Absolute dominance in the net. Wow. Wow. Just putting more icing on the cake. Absolutely amazing. you see him in the net there, like, yeah, I'm big and bad. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Cathal McKeown, so far this season, 90 shots on goal, 83 saves, and only 7 goals allowed for a 1.28 goals against average and a save percentage of .922 with 2 shutouts. Those are stats that even the pros would lick their chops at as a shot goes on the line, but no dice. 26 seconds and counting. Cahal McKeown, absolute dominance on this in this game. Like, absolute dominance in this game. And that should wrap her up as the Strikers now improve their record 8-0-0. A perfect record so far this season. So as we wrap this up, the winning El Segundo Strikers will now take the league lead in wins with a perfect 8-0-0 record and now have 16 points on the season. The Broncos drop to 4-2-0 or 4-3. Excuse me, 4-3-0, and they retain their fourth place in the division. Now moving on to the goaltenders, as I can get the game stats here. Excuse me. As we move on to the box play for the Strikers. So tonight's goalie for the El Segundo Strikers, Cahal McKeown, faced 14 shots, saved 13 of them, for a grand total save percentage of a .929. And on the other side, Caleb Gillum faced a grand total of 35 shots, saving 30 of them for a .857. Now, those two stats, both winning and losing goaltender, really gave it their all, really showed what goaltending is supposed to be like. That was an amazing display of goaltending. But final score here tonight, the JV Broncos 1 and your El Segundo Strikers 5. For Richard Flores. For Richard Flores and the El Segundo team, I am Brian Flores, wishing you a good night and, good morning. Good morning. It's still morning here in Sunnyside, California. I keep forgetting that. It's still morning here in Sunnyside, California, right next to the LAX airport. For Richard Flores, I'm Brian Flores, wishing you a good morning and safe travels. See you tomorrow, where the El Segundo Strikers will be taking on the the El Segundo Strikers will again be taking on the Broncos at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. For Richard Flores, I'm Brian Flores. Your final score here tonight, 5-1. Thank you for watching.